Joshua chapter 8, capture of Ai, capture of Al. The Lord then said to Yeshua, "Do not be afraid or dismayed. Take all the army with you and prepare to attack Ai Al. I have delivered the king of Al into your power with his people, city, and the land. Do to Al and its king what you did to Jericho and its king, except that you may take its spoil and livestock as plunder. Set up ambush behind the city." So Yeshua and all the soldiers prepared to attack Al, picking out 30,000 warriors. Yeshua sent them off by night with these orders: "See that you ambush the city from the rear. Do not be very far from the city. All of you must be ready. The rest of the people and I will come up to the city, and when they make a sortie against us, as they did the last time, we will flee from them. They will keep coming out after us until we have driven them away from the city, for they will think they are fleeing from us as they did the last time. When we flee, then you rise in ambush and take possession of the city, which the Lord your God will deliver into your power. When you have taken the city, set it on fire in obedience to the Lord's commands. These are my orders to you." Then Yeshua sent them away, and they went to the place of ambush, taking up their position to the west of Ai Al toward Bethel. Yeshua, however, spent that night with the army. Early the next morning, Yeshua mustered the army and went up to Ai Al. At its head were the elders of Israel. When all the troops he led were drawn up in position before the city, they pitched camp north of Ai on the other side of the Ravine. He took about 5,000 warriors and set them in ambush between Bethel and Ai, west of the city. Thus the people took up their stations with the main body north of the city and the ambush west of it, and Yeshua waited overnight in the valley. The king of Ai Al saw this, and he and all his army came out very early in the morning to engage Israel in battle at the place in front of the Arabah, not knowing that there was an ambush behind the city. Yeshua and the main body of the Israelites fled toward the wilderness, pretending defeat, until the last of the soldiers in the city had been called out to pursue them. Since they were driven away from the city, with everyone pursuing Yeshua, not a soldier remained in Ai or Bethel. They abandoned the city, leaving it open as they pursued Israel. Then the Lord directed Yeshua, "Stretch out the javelin in your hand toward Ai Al, for I will deliver it into your power." Yeshua stretched out the javelin in his hand toward the city, and as soon as he did so, the men in ambush rose from their posts, rushed in, captured the city, and immediately set it on fire. By the time the army of Ai Al looked back, the smoke from the city was going up to the heavens. Escape in any direction was impossible, because the Israelites retreating toward the wilderness now turned on the pursuers. When Yeshua and the main body of Israelites saw that the city had been taken by ambush and was going up in smoke, they struck back at the forces of Ai Al. Since those in the city came out to intercept them, Ai Al's army was hemmed in by the Israelites on both sides, who cut them down without any fugitives or survivors except the king, whom they took alive and brought to Yeshua. When Israel finished killing all the inhabitants of Ai Al in the open, who had pursued them into the wilderness, and all of them to the last man fell by the sword, then all Israel returned to put the sword to those inside the city. There fell that day a total of 12,000 men and women, the entire population of Ai Al. Yeshua kept the javelin in his hand, stretched out until he had carried out the ban on all the inhabitants of Ai Al. However, the Israelites took for themselves as plunder the livestock and the spoil of that city, according to the command of the Father, the Lord, issued to Yeshua. Then Yeshua destroyed Ai Al by fire, reducing it to an everlasting mound of ruins as it remains today. He had the king of Ai Al hanged on a tree until evening. Then at sunset, Yeshua ordered the body removed from the tree and cast at the entrance of the city gate, where a great heap of stones was piled up over it, which remains to this present day. Altar on Mount Ebal. Later on Mount Ebal, Yeshua built to the Lord, the God of Israel, an altar of unhewn stones on which no iron tool had been used, just as Musa, the servant of the Lord, had commanded the Israelites, as recorded in the book of the law. On this altar they sacrificed burnt offerings to the Lord and made communion sacrifices. There in the presence of the Israelites, Yeshua inscribed upon the stones a copy of the law written by Musa. All the rest of Israel, resident, alien, and native alike, with their elders, officers, and judges, stood on either side of the ark facing the Levitical priests who were carrying the ark of the covenant of the Lord. Half of them were facing Mount Gerizim and half Mount Ebal, just as Musa, the servant of the Lord, had first commanded for the blessing of the people of Israel. Then were read aloud all the words of the law, the blessings and the curses, exactly as written in the book of the law. Every single word that Musa had commanded Yeshua read aloud to the entire assembly, including the women and children and the resident aliens among them.